We're going to start letting people in. All righty, guys, welcome to the webinar today. I'm going to start letting people into the webinar, and once we get about 30 seconds here, we'll get started. I want to welcome you guys today. We're going to be talking about how to transform your cash flow and scale your business with a secure and compliant payment portal. You're probably thinking, how in the world is this cybersecurity guy going to be helping me with cash flow? I'm going to definitely teach you a little bit about that, a little bit about a security behind having a payment portal and how you can work on your cash flow and improve that. All right, guys, well, let's get started here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, we're going to be talking about payment portals today, how to transfer your cash flow and scale your business with a secure and compliant payment portal. And we're going to be talking about several things. One, I want to introduce who I am and why do you think you should be listening to me right now. And then also I'm going to be talking about Vector Choice Technology Solution is our technology, my technology company that is backing this webinar today. And what do we do at Vector Choice? And then we're going to talk about transforming your cash flow. And number 4, securing and compliance. Hey, what do you need to do to be secure and compliant when taking credit cards or HCH payments? And then we're going to talk about assessments and audits when it comes to security and compliance. But who is Will Nobles? Who am I? So a lot of people, it's funny that people call me Will Blue Suit Nobles. And it's because every time I'm on stage, I'm always wearing a blue suit. Every time I'm on a TV segment, I am wearing a blue suit. But what Vector Choice is all about, we're focusing providing secure, responsible, reliable, compliant technology solutions that just work for you. We want to make sure that you are able to run your business and you don't have to focus on technology. We're making sure it's secure, we're making sure it's reliable, and we'll make sure it's compliant, especially when you have to meet compliance. And so many people today take credit cards and other systems of a form of payment, and you have to be what's called PCI compliant. And we want to make sure that you are maintaining that. We really focus on, we started in 2008 and focusing on working with law firms, healthcare, and manufacturing companies. Since 2008, we've worked with over 400 companies, and surprisingly crazy, and I was putting these numbers together this week, 25,000 devices that we've supported over the years of the 13 years I've been in business. Now, yes, I will definitely back this. We're the most responsive, reliable IT solution provider on the East Coast. And I'm going to explain here why I say the East Coast. But before I get there, I want to talk about a little bit about where our locations are. We have 7 locations now. Yes, we are up to 7 locations in 7 different states with clients in over 20 different other states as well. And some of the locations, we just acquired a company in Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia. And we also have an office in DC, Eastern North Carolina, which is a small little town where I come from in New Bern, North Carolina. And it's funny about New Bern, New Bern's the home of Pepsi. But I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, which is the home of Coca-Cola. And so I live in Atlanta. Our corporate office is in Atlanta, Georgia. We have an office in Mobile, Alabama, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And just this month, we have now an office in Nashville, Tennessee. So that's where all our office, and we're continuing expanding in multiple other states and multiple locations to help serve our clients that are all over the place, as well as expanding and helping transform MSP, managed services, IT solutions across the United States. Now, you're saying, okay, great. I know where you guys do it at, but who is Will Nobles? So Will Nobles is me. Yes, that is just me. And I have been an appearance of MSP Success Magazine just recently, just released last week, February 2022 edition of Channel Pro Magazine, how success is intentional. You have to be intentional to grow your business. And that's what I've done in my business. I have taken that to the next level and intentionally done the things to grow my business in the right way. And one of those ways is definitely having a clean cash flow process, scaling that cash flow, and also having a portal to make it easy for clients to actually make payments to us. So you might have seen me. I have been on different TV segments from San Diego to DC, to Atlanta, to all over the place. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Fox 44 Baton Rouge is I am the to go to person when there's a cybersecurity attack in Louisiana. Fox 44 has me on their station talking about that. But I've been in Good Day, New Mexico, and all over the place. Up in Chicago on TV stations. We also have a movie that's out. It's on Amazon Prime. I am not an actor by no means, but it is a movie called Cybercrime. And that movie is on Amazon Prime. It came out about 3 years ago. And matter of fact, we have a new movie called Cybercrime Dark Web Uncovered coming out in May of 2022 here. So just very shortly, we're going to do the big giant premiere in Hollywood, whole red carpet premiere. By no means am I acting in any of these. These are documentaries and just educating people about cybersecurity and the risk that's out there when it comes to cybersecurity and what you can do to help protect yourself and your business against a cyber attack. So, I talked about why are we the most reliable and responsive IT provider in the East Coast. This is the reason why. We've made the Inc. 5000 for the past 3 years. We've been the MSP 501. What is that? That's the top managed services providers in the world, not just in the United States, not just in Georgia, not in any of the states that we're in, the top 501 MSP providers in the world. We've also got the best and brightest places to work in Atlanta and some of the greatest places to work certificate as well. And what I'm most proud of is that we have an amazing community of our clients, and our team is unbelievable and awesome. Best support team that you can call and ask for support questions there. Now, what does Vector Choice do? What do we do? Well, we actually do a lot of things. But before I cover what we do, if you have any questions, if you would like to put in the Q&A, I'll answer those at the end of the webinar. I'm trying to make this short and sweet. It's about a 45-minute webinar here to get you familiar with how to increase your cash flow. So please ask any questions in the Q&A section here, and I will answer those questions for you. So what does Vector Choice do? We do manage IT services. We're an outsourced IT service provider for medium and small businesses. Now, what does that mean? When you have an IT issue, we're the ones that you call, but we're also the ones that are proactively monitoring and securing your environment at all times. We do managed cybersecurity solutions. We do VoIP and phone hosting. What does that mean is besides having that old rinky-dink PBX or old phone system sitting in the closet in your office, we actually can host that phone system in the cloud and give you a true phone hosting. And then we can integrate your processes and your business process with the phone system. We can do screen pops when calls come in, and it integrates with your key business product that you use, and we can do screen pops where that shows up. We can do virtual server hosting and virtual desktop hosting in our data center, where we are hosting these servers and desktops for you so you can lower your cost of capital and having to spend money on equipment. Equipment expires and goes out so fast. And I know you're tired of always every 5 to 6 years, God, I've got to replace that server. Well, these are things that you can do in a virtual server environment where you don't have to replace that hardware. We also offer CTO services where we can actually oversee your IT team or go in and do strategy planning with your C-suite, level C-suite. We used to do software development, website design, hosting, and monitoring. We can be your internet provider sourcing. I know when you want to switch internet providers, you hate having to call all these internet providers, Comcast, AT&T, Windstream, all these providers out there, and you get a whole bunch of salespeople trying to sell you their service and why they're better. What we can do, we can broker that for you. We protect you, not have to deal with all those salespeople, and we can actually broker that for you and provide the different quotes from the different carriers where you don't have to actually talk to them, and we advise you which option is the best 2 or 3 options to choose from and let you choose from there. Oh, crazy. My PowerPoint's going in the wrong direction there, but that's fine. Structural cabling, low voltage cabling. So that's where you plug into the wall and your computers are plugged in, your internet circuits are plugged in. fiber. We can do structured cabling for your office if you're moving or you're switching out the cabling in your office, or just expanding your office. We can help you with structured cabling. We do cyber attack remediation. So what does that mean? When you do get hit with a cyber attack, we can come in and save the day. We can start helping going through the process. Believe me, we've been through the process several times when it comes to a company getting hit with a cyber attack, how to work with the hackers. And yes, they will actually communicate with you. And if you have to pay, what is a Bitcoin? How do you pay Bitcoin? How do you pay the ransoms? Are you going to get your data back? And hopefully you don't have to pay that. Hopefully you've got a backup solution, or your IT provider has a backup solution in place for you that you're actually truly backing up. And when I talk about backups, please remember there's so many different various types of backups out there. So make sure you're asking, and you can call us and ask, hey, what kind of backup do we actually have? What's the backup procedure? What happens if I do get hacked? Ask these questions to your providers. We do Office 365 services, so anywhere from if you want to use Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive, email hosting with Microsoft, we are a partner with Microsoft to do that. Yes, you can buy hardware and software procurement from us. If you're any of the top brands, we can sell to you. We do a lot of compliancy consulting when it comes to ITAR, PCI, HIPAA, NIST, CMMC. So a lot of compliances that we work with, and we can help you with that. We do video surveillance and access control as well. So, okay, the reason for the webinar, the reason why you actually got on this webinar today is not to talk about everything that Vector Choice can do for you, but I really want to talk about how to transform your cash flow here. Now, a lot of you guys probably are still taking checks, and you're getting these checks, and then all of a sudden, the funds are not there, and you're having to deal with a bounce check, and you're having to deal with fees. You're then having to reach back out to that customer or client and say, hey, where's my money? What's going on there? Why are you bouncing? I encourage you, stop taking checks. And I'm going to share with here today why you should do that. So let me talk a little bit about some stats and facts here. Businesses live and die by their operation cash flow. We all know that. If you're a business owner on this call, you know that you're living by the cash flow that you have and what you're operating with. Number two, businesses are all sizes consider cash flow one of the top 5 challenges. And you probably can raise your hand if you want to virtually raise your hand. That's fine. If you want to put it in the chat, say, yes, I agree with that. I would love for you to do that. But that's the challenge here. And then when businesses fail, statistics say 60% cite that cash flow was the cause. Now, why is that? Why is cash flow the cause if we're actually managing our cash flow correctly and we're collecting our money the right way? 82% of business fail due to poor cash flow management. Hey, sort of carry on with statistics here. 24% of business say that their clients often pay late. And that is especially with COVID and a lot of people did struggle. Businesses did struggle, but unfortunately, a lot of businesses had their clients and customers use it as an excuse that they're struggling. Now, I'm going to show you here today how you can work around that and work with a client, but also give the capability to help your cash flow. 28% of businesses struggle with late payments. 51% is considered accounts receivable collections a top business concern. I would hope 51%, it's higher than that, but collections is a concern that all companies have. And I'll tell you, one of the things I pride ourselves on, and you might be a client on this call, but I'm preaching to you as well, that we only have 3 invoices today that are over 30 days old. How many of you business owners can say that? Okay. I hope you have 0. And my goal is the 0, but our max is 3 at any time that's over 30 days old. So let's transform your cash flow. And one of the ways I want to share this with you is stop taking checks. Checks are old. When you go to a store today, do you write checks? When you pay your bills online, You don't write checks anymore. You're probably doing a credit card or ACH payment, which is a check, just virtual. I mean, it's virtual. It takes away that paper. It takes away mailing that. And Lord, we know that the United States Postal Service is not the best in the world of getting checks there on time, especially in the middle of an election year, in the middle of COVID. Things have slowed down and changed quite a bit. So let's don't depend on other factors of you getting your money. Start taking credit cards. And I know a lot of people say, hey, if I take credit cards, I have to pay the credit card fees. Okay, you have two options there. Increase your pricing to adjust for the credit card fee, or add a fee in there. Now, one of the things of a portal that I'm going to be showing you guys today, you can add a percentage or whatever percentage that you want to cover of credit card if you're going to take credit cards. But even if you don't want to take credit cards, at least do HCH. That is the best way of methods. It's cheaper for you. It gets a lot faster. It's still a form of a check. If someone doesn't use credit cards or don't believe in debit cards and credit cards, then that's another option that you can go with there. Establish a payment portal for your clients to pay. Make it easy to see their invoices. Make it easy for them to pull reports. The time that you save of them not having to reach out to your accounting department and saying, hey, can you send me my invoices for all last year? Or can you send me my last 3 invoices? That time saved by having a payment portal saves so much workload time, which it means your cash flow goes up because you don't have to hire so many people to do that. Send automatic reminders. You know, if you have a mortgage today, your mortgage company probably about 5 to 10 days out says, hey, friendly little email. Sometimes they text these days. Little email, your mortgage is due in 5 days or 10 days, whatever that is. Do the reminders, and it could be a friendly reminder. Then the day of, hey, just a reminder that your invoice is due today. Then you can get harder and harder with those reminders and more firm and more strict about how you're going to handle this going forward. And then you got to get to a point to say, hey, I'm going to send you to collections if it's not paid by this time. So you actually have to get that clear process down. And my clients on here, hope none of you guys pay late, but if you do, you've probably received those emails. You've received the reminder emails. So I promise you, it does help increase cash flow if you're doing that. Number 6, integrating with your accounting system to the new payment portal. So if you're using QuickBooks or other systems, these payment portals can integrate with QuickBooks or other systems like that. So definitely integrate all that together so you have a clean process of your payment cash flow system. Integrate with your primary business software. So if you've got a software that you're billing projects from or billing a widgets or whatever that is, integrate that with QuickBooks, integrate that with your payment portal. And I just say QuickBooks because we use QuickBooks, but integrate that all together. Reduce late payments. By reducing the late payments, by doing the automated reminders, setting strict guidelines. Okay, what happens if you're late? What's going to change that? And which ultimately reduces your collections. Then you don't have to spend money on attorneys. You don't have to spend money on sending letters out. You can reduce the collection costs there as well by increasing that cash flow with a process. And for the love, and I know I've got a lot of clients that are attorneys, and I don't think I have any clients that are debt collectors, but Lord, let's all of us quit paying debt collectors. Stop having to use the attorney to collect bad debt, because bottom line, when it gets there, is it even worth it anymore? With the headache, the fees that you have to pay the attorneys, if you have to go to court, small claims court, all the above, it's just the time. If you are handling this stuff up front, you're clear about your process and your payment methods and your terms and conditions, then at that point, it clears that all up for you. Okay, so let's really talk about, I am not a accounting person. I am a cybersecurity expert. And I want to talk about security and compliance when it comes to your payment processing. So what type of compliance do you have to meet? So you have to meet what's called PCI DSS compliant payment card industry data security standard. Okay, that is the compliant that if you take a credit card, no matter how big or small you are, if you take a credit card or ACH, you have to be what's called PCI DSS compliant. Who must be PCI compliant? Any business that transmits, stores, handles, or accepts credit card data, regardless of the size or the processing volume. If you take one credit card per month, you have to be PCI compliant based on the standard here. Now, this is not Will standard. Please look it up, PCI DSS compliance. You're going to read some of these compliance and what you are required to do here. So is PCI mandatory? Absolutely so. It is definitely mandatory. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about why it's mandatory, what you should do as a business to make sure that if you are going to take credit cards and are going to take ACH payments, how do you make sure you hit mandatory compliance? So I put together what are the 12 requirements to be PCI compliance. And this is where I'm going to get a little technical, but I'm going to stay high level as possible. And you're going to be surprised with some of these because you think, well, the credit card processing happens in the cloud, right? So when I swipe the card or I tap my phone, all that's in the cloud. Well, the problem is it's going over your network in your office. So installing and maintaining a firewall configuration to protect the cardholder data, okay? And you're saying, okay, what's a firewall? How do I get a firewall? Well, I would suggest talk to your IT provider and see if you actually have a firewall. I will go ahead and tell you a modem or a router from your internet provider is not a firewall, okay? So if you have a Comcast modem sitting there and you're running credit cards, that is not a firewall. So you want to put that behind, and it could be a hardware or software firewall, just to be clear on that. But there's different forms and why you want to do in different scenarios there. Do not use a vendor supplied default passwords and other security parameters. And by default, when you get your Comcast modem or your router, they have default passwords there. Or you go buy something from the store, they're going to have a default password. Or even if you buy something, matter of fact, from an IT company like myself, it has default passwords. You want to make sure you change the default passwords. Oh, and by the way, printers have default passwords on them that you can get into the GUI, which ultimately I can hack in and get into the rest of your data network and capture that credit card information. So even down to printers, you want to change that. So anything that you plug into your network or that connects wirelessly to your network needs the default system password changed and maintained and updated on a regular basis. You've got to protect the stored cardholder data. So at any point, if you're taking a form, you need to have a process of if they're putting their credit card information on a form or any of that type of data, you've got to have that secured. You've got to lock that away. Encrypt the transmission. So what does that mean? That's not just encrypting the transmission of when the credit card gets swiped. That is it getting encrypted by the credit card device and the communication to the credit card. But also, if you happen to email a form or someone's credit card information at any form, we have a software that we can go in, we can scan your computer or your network and see if you've got any credit card information laying around. If that stuff is not encrypted, you're in violation. If you email that with just a regular email, you're in violation of being PCI compliant. And so you need email encryption as part of your email to be able to send credit cards via email. So you're encrypting that transmission of that cardholder's information. Use and regularly update antivirus software. Now, we call it endpoint protection because it's not just antivirus anymore. It is antivirus, anti-malware, and anti-ransomware. But you have to have an antivirus on all your computers on your network, not just the one that's transmitting the credit card, but everything on your network needs to be protected at all times. Because if you plug something into a network, I can hack over to the machine that actually you are using. If I put a virus on one machine, I can get over to the other machine to get into the one that you're using the credit card from. So just a little FYI on that. And then another thing is, when if you've got guests or you've got clients or patients coming into your office, have a separate Wi-Fi for them to connect to, not the one that your business is run on. Because again, that's another violation, because if I come in with my laptop, plug into your network or connect to your company wireless, and I don't have antivirus, I have a virus and spreads, and then I get that credit card information, or the hacker gets that, that's on you and not your guest or your patient or your client. Develop and maintain secure systems and applications. So yes, this takes you away from PCI compliance. You're like, well, why does this matter with PCI compliance? Because if your applications that you're running in your environment are not up to date, or not patched, or not secured, or not maintained by the software company that developed it, and that gets hacked and it gets spread over to the rest of the data that holds your cardholder information, or it has able to access the swipes of the cardholder, then that leads to be a problem there. Okay, so this is where it's a bigger picture, and it really when it comes down to it, I encourage you, do what is best interest of your clients and your employees when it comes to security. Don't be cheap on this. Make sure you're doing the right thing when it comes to these things. Restrict access to card holder, I can't talk today, data by the business, only the need to know. What that means is, if you have an accounting department that has credit card information, you need to have that door locked. You need to have the filing cabinet that has that data locked. If you have a folder structures that has this in a soft copy on your file server, you need to have that locked down to only certain people that actually have access to use that data has access to that. So make sure, again, goes away from the credit card. Now it goes into, are you maintaining your security of your systems correctly as well? Assign unique ID to each person with a computer access. Now, I know this is so hard. Small businesses, that everybody's using the same password, everybody's sharing passwords, but this is a violation of PCI. If you're not using unique IDs or unique logins to your computers or your computer systems, then at that point, you're in violation of PCI compliance. Restrict physical access to card holder data. I'm going to mess that up more times than not, but this is going back to the office, the files, the filing cabinet. Make sure that is locked down as well. Track and monitor all access to network resources and cardholder data. Woo, that's a hard word for me today. But make sure that there's a tracking system. If you have a badge and who's walking into that office that has that credit card, who is actually logging into the network drive that has the credit card information stored there, you have to have some kind of monitoring system that shows Jane Doe logged in at this time. By default, servers don't do that. You've got event logs, but event logs don't give you that. So you've got to be thinking about tracking and monitoring. How do you need to do that with resources that have that data there? Now, regular testing security. I know a lot of your banks and your credit card processors says you have to do that. Probably you guys are doing this little website stuff and running it real quick. That is only a little bit that's covering you. Okay, I know that they're trying to do a little bit, and you know, with having you run that little application, ask a few questions. But I'm telling you, unless you have an IT company that actually is looking at this stuff and can truly report that, then if you get compromised, that little regulatory testing is not going to suffice when it comes to a lawsuit or anything. Okay, and maintain the policies address information security for all employees. So again, outside of PCI, but you want to, what's the policies of your information? Are you allowed to take your computers home? Are you allowed to log into our systems from your home computer? Are you allowed to access or modify files? Are you able to put files on a thumb drive and take that home? That's all kinds of policies that you need to put around and think about just with PCI compliancy, not counting all the other compliances. And I'm telling you, people, that compliancy and regulations are coming to every state. Ohio, Texas, California, they already have it, and some other states. They already have their state compliance. If anybody does work with the EU, you have to be what's called GDPR compliant. GDPR compliant means that if you do business or have a business or a individual information in your system in the United States, you have to be just one, you have to be GDPR compliant if you have any data from someone from the EU. And so that is coming to the US, and individual states are doing it on themselves. They're following sort of what's called the NIST, NIST compliance. That's very, very strict compliance. I don't think most small businesses really need to follow that, but they're going to be coming where, so make sure you pay attention to your state laws and regulations when it comes to your compliancy and what you need to do, regardless if you have to meet PCI, HIPAA, and other types of compliances there. All right, so you guys are probably saying, oh my God, this gives me a headache. I don't want someone else to take care of it. I do not want to deal with this. Or guess what? I don't care if something gets compromised. You know, I had, and I'm going to say this because I just think it's wrong. I was in a meeting with a prospect. It was a pediatric firm, and the doctor looked at me and said, I don't care about HIPAA. And I looked at her just quickly and said, so you don't care about your patients? And it's not about the regulations, people. It's about your patients. It's about your customers. It's about your clients. It's about your employees. It's protecting the data in a whole. And I know it's a headache of everything I said and all the things that you've got to put in place just to be PCI compliant. And I'll be glad to help you. If you want to reach out to us, I'll be glad to help you get PCI compliant or any other types of compliancy, or just run an assessment on your environment. But the headache comes with this. Fines go from $5,000 to $100,000 per month until you achieve compliance. So if you're taking credit cards, and I'm going to ask you as a small business, as a medium business, as a large business on this call, can you, or do you want to afford anywhere from $5,000 to $100,000 per month of just throwing the money away? Okay. You can do something today to proactively prevent a security attack in your environment, also help to be PCI compliant, and also look at your customers and say, your data is protected with us. Look at your employees and say, your data is protected. The information that you use every day is protected, and we're going to take care of it. Because I don't want to pay $5,000. I definitely don't want to pay $100,000 per month and throw that money away. I'd rather go do something else with it. Okay. I'd rather hire another employee. I'd rather take the employees on a trip besides throw that type of money away. So I'm talking to you guys as I don't want to beat IT down your throat. I don't want to beat compliancy down your throat. Think about how much do you care about your client. That's all I want you to do. All right, guys. So why I wanted to do this for you guys today, and at the end, I'm going to show you guys where you can sign up and get a free assessment from us. But do you know how secure your business is today? And do you know how you can take and collect and increase your cash flow? So we've partnered with a company called ConnectBooster that we can start taking credit card processing and help you. This is a dashboard of you as the vendor where you're taking the money. This shows you all your AR, your past due, your balances, how your payments are working out, all that good stuff. Okay. And so this is a dashboard that you can look at. It integrates with QuickBooks. It integrates with other systems and other third-party software systems as well. You can have a storefront. You can have credit card swipes. You can take it by the phone. You can do web portal access to take credit cards. There's several ways to do that. Here's what the customer will see. Their balance, their past due amount. They can go and make payments here. You can, if it's a recurring cost, they can automatically set up their payments. If you're a customer of mine, you've logged into this, you see this, and you see how easy it is to go through and pull all your open invoices that you want. You can look at your past invoices. You can set up auto pay. You can pay credit card or ACH. You can come in here as the vendor and set up reminders, payment reminders that will automatically go out for you. You don't have to pay someone to send reminders out about collecting money. It's all automated, and everything. So with that said, I want to give you guys today a free risk assessment. And with the free risk assessment, I want to do a few things for you guys. One, I want to do a cybersecurity assessment on your environment. We have a tool that we can run on your one computer or your whole environment and give you an idea of what kind of credit cards, what kind of information, what kind of passwords, what kind of social security information that you have setting on your individual computers today. You'll be surprised. Then also we can do a free credit card processing assessment. What that will do for you is actually go through and see what kind of compliancy, what are you doing today for your credit card, and then see if we can help you save you on your credit card processing fees, as well as get you a client portal or a payment portal together to increase your cash flow. If you're interested in that, you can scan the QR code over to the right, or you can click on the link. Just a few questions, your name, email address, and phone number. I believe that's all you need to do. We will help you with both of those. Some of my staff members will be reaching out to you to see if you're interested in us doing that. We'll be glad to do that for free for you. Even if you're an existing customer, we'll be glad to do that free of charge for you guys. And last, if you want to reach out to us for anything, just email will@vectorchoice.com. You can go to our website. There's a contact form there, or you can call me directly. That is my direct phone number. You can call me directly and ask any questions or set up a meeting with me to ask any questions that you might have when it comes to PCI compliance, any other types of compliancy, or, hey, Will, can you just check and see if my company is running secure? All right, guys, thank you so much for being on today. I hope this webinar helped. I hope it educated you on what you need to do to take credit cards and increase your cash flow. Have a wonderful day.